Good evening, dear friends. This is Surah Singh speaking of Bharat, India. Again, a series of small video. I'm just lying. Subject title is Project Coordination, Engineering, and Project Communication. Very important for everybody who is an engineer, is also a contractor as well. Without coordination, without communication, without organization of all these activities, these are all knowledge areas, just like other knowledge areas like cost time and quality supports and human resources and equipment resources. Communication, coordination are knowledge areas very important and should be dealt professionally. That's what I'm saying. And if you don't deal them professionally, you lose something on project. Management is not adequately, you can say management is enough. Management cannot be done without support of communication and coordination. This is a very important point. We have to understand this point because all of the points are technical, but coordination is made technical. A coordination means is something to be interpreted, constructed among already available independent or individual technical information. While communication is something that has nothing to do with profession, but it's more supportive in profession rather than something else. Because if you don't communicate, if you don't succeed in communication, you cannot succeed in your project. It's an important point to understand. We always fail because of records, and records, if not available, means we are not available, work is not available. Records mean documents are not available, and these documents speak a lot. There are always emphasis on both parties. Party number one, that's employer, who's on construction contract number one, construction EPC, you may say, engineering project, engineering procurement and construction. It's called EPC. It may be EPC or maybe construction. All what we say is that documentation is very important. And documentation doesn't mean paper, it means records. And records means communication record, coordination record, proven records that speak something, which are accepted by professionals, arbitration professionals, engineers professionals, contractor professionals. I'm calling everyone professional because they are giving something to public. It may be contractor who delivers practically a project, engineer who delivers a done project, and public who uses that project, public, private, public, or whoever. And that's what is a very important point. Why do we fail in communication and coordination? Because of lack of interest. Until you experience in field, you experience in designs, experience in construction, experience everywhere, where coordination is very important. Coordination means every step. What I say when we say engineer means engineering means an activity that starts with something to think of. When you start thinking something and you deliver something, a gap between this is called engineering. Think and deliver, but this is not small gap. This is very wide gap, very long gap. It's like train, a process train, you can say, imaginary and practical process train, that is called, that one terminal, one end is think, that is engine, other thing is delivery, and that is when you reach your destiny. It's not my definition, it's definition, intellectual definition. Engineering means to think, nothing else. Overall definition of engineering is to think and deliver. Whatever it can. It's not simply project. It can be everything, everywhere, in all disciplines of engineering, or even sciences, or even life. What you say that you think it is, and that you think it is what you say. Say means conclusively saying, means you are speaking, you are claiming, you are designing, you are proposing, whatever that can be delivered. And if it can be delivered, that's not engineering, this is a poetry, this is a prose, this is something like that which has got no material in that. Material means hypothetical material only. A poetry means nothing in result. Only imagine, I feel very happy after listening to this poem, or after listening to a fairy tale. Engineering is no fairy tale, engineering is no poetry, engineering is no story, it's store. It's no story but store. It's factual filled, it's facts filled and delivery. and that delivery must be functional. It's not simple delivery, it should work. Every material delivered, every built material delivered, everything delivered must have certain meaning, must speak something. We cannot simply say because I am delivering. You are not delivering, project is delivering. You are only a person handling that delivery. So engineer means handler of delivery, dealer of delivery. This means much more than just a maker. Project is not done just on papers. It's done in field. That's point we understand. In field we do. In field we understand. And from initial stage, very initial stage to delivery stage is a process of thinking, doing, execution, everything. You cannot say this is engineering, this is engineering. No. Total process of engineering train is engineering. It involves almost all disciplines of engineering, but major discipline is that gives shape. Discipline that gives shape is civil engineering, which includes many engineering. You can say initiation engineering, you can say conceptual engineering, you can say field engineering, you can say design engineering, you can say building engineering, you can say execution or construction engineering, you can say further that ultimately delivery and operation engineering. Ultimately operation comes in. So we have to create an environment in engineering where project stops and operation moves in. You may not find these terms in normal books. You have to think about this. I don't care for management books or what books otherwise. I am talking based on my real experience. Real experience, earned experience, not just assumed experience or film watching experience. It's experience that has been earned solidly, concretely. Why I am talking to you like this? Because I understand the access problems at many locations, and at each locations in this whole process train of engineering. People may not understand it directly. What is train is? Train doesn't mean that train in which travel from one place to other. It's the train of mind. It's a train of intellectualism. It's a train of performance. It's a train of doing something for final functional use. That's what train is. And you will travel through this train throughout your life when you use that structure. Because the structure does not work only for one day, it works for centuries. That durability of centuries is your train. That you can say safety is your train for so long. And use of that train is that the train serves you for centuries, for decades, for multi-decades, depending on design and depending on requirement. There are structures which are not very durable structures. There are porter cabins, for example. They are very small. They are also structured. They are timber structure. They are aluminum structure. They are structural steel structure. And like that there are. What I am talking is something super permanent. I'm not talking a structure that you take from here put there. No, I'm not talking that. I'm talking something which is integrated with foundation and to soil. You understand that? Soil comes in picture. Coordination comes in picture. Design comes in picture. Communication comes in picture. And construction comes in picture. If so many scenarios come into this picture scenario, this engineering delivery scenario, what should they? You just depend on certain books and decide? No, not at all. If you give me a design, I will not go to books directly, not at all. I'll just think, what should I do best way? I have to think first, What I have to do? What I have to produce? First, I must have that picture on my mind, that shape in my mind. Alterable shape, not rigid shape. I can mold it in different ways. I can think 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, 40 times, if so required, because I have to deliver functionality. It's not architecture or structural engineering, no. It's mental engineering. So I want to go to like that. What actually I am visioning, I'm weaving in my mind, I want to give. So that is called real engineering. After that, once I decide, then I have to jump into analysis, then jump into detailing of that, and that too alterable, that too variable. I cannot say, no, I decide and do it. No, I have to add to my work myself. I have to review my work myself. That is called engineering. Maybe imagination is one thing, but practicality is something else. That suitable fitness should be ensured, and that assurance to yourself first, and then within budget, because first you assume what you have to do and you then fix how much it take in cost term, how much does it take in time term, how much does it take in quality term, how much does it take in material term, how much does it take in each and every term or parts of that imaginary train which you are going to design, operate, drive, and do everything on that process train. If you go to some plant, working plant, somewhere around world, you will find many oil plants, other plants, chemical plants, and this plant and that plant and this plant. You will find many trains linked together. That's called process train. A process train means many equipment are connected together depending on chemistry or chemical engineering of that portion. That's called process train. That is risk area. In every plant, process train is only risk area. Other areas are not that risky, because process there is. It's chemical process. There may be locomotive, there may be boilers, there may be many equipment, there may be many chemical kinds. There may be so much and so much that I can't explain here. I'm an expert of that. I'm just an engineer civil, structural. It's job of chemical engineer to design that train, and we support that engineer how to make it. That point is very important. Very important. Thank you, Mr. Chaudhary. Welcome. So I say, we can't conclude like this, because every part of that train is composed of equipment, material design, and construction of material, and how to draw best use, optimum use from that. So you think it's that easy? Not at all. It's not easy. I'm talking about civil engineering, structural engineering, construction engineering, which is also a train. That's right. You try to understand why I'm saying train. It's really train, not visible. There you can see in plants, in facilities, but in structure you will not find. But if you say earth, soil, foundation, and then further up to many stories, and vertical spread and horizontal spread. Both vertically is moving, horizontal moving. So there are both a vertical mobility, horizontal mobility, or you can say mobility in diagonal direction or in other direction. So this is vertical train, this horizontal train, this is a foundation train, this soil train. There are so many trains in that. It's all connected together. So it's called unit building, unit structure, working in unit terms, not in elemental terms, not in each part term. They're all linked together, and that's called multidimensional train. You can understand that very well. There is no need of referring to a book. It's common sense. Millions and millions of particles are used in that. Billions of particles. Let us example. Steel reinforcement, reinforcing bars. How many bars are used in a structure? Thousands and thousands of bars. And how many bends and how many cuts? You can imagine. How many activity, each activity move on that. Similarly, how many aggregate particles are used? How many sand particles are used? How much water is used? How many cement particles are? how these compose that chemical structure. Building is a chemical structure because material it is chemical material, inert chemical material, inorganic chemical material. Cement is also chemical, water is chemical, and rock is chemical, soil is chemical. What's that chemical? We use that chemical in our process which does not deteriorate, which does not decompose. We use that material. It's not organic material, it's not plant, tree or root. No, that's called organic material. We are not going to use organic material because this is decomposable. And do you know what's decomposable and what's composable? Both are different. Decomposable which changes its forms and structure and dies. But inert material does not die. It remains there for centuries to come, for years to come. So when you are going to use such a wealth in your structure, can you take it so easily? Can you take it to books only? Can you take it to codes only? As an engineer, you have to use your brilliance. And that brilliance is required in engineering. And that brilliance use means engineering, nothing else. Engineering doesn't mean ENGINER. It means use of genius mind. That's called engineering. IN actually it is. EN means inside. Giant means this element of intellectualism. You use, go in your mind, use that intellectual element and produce something, and that's engineering. Engineer is not spelling, it's not human body, it's not paper certificate. It is intellectual brilliant use of your knowledge. Your mind knowledge doesn't book knowledge. How you think about, then book is your support. Remember, book is support, codes are support, but engineering is originally built in your mind by imagination, by application of your experience and your knowledge, your training, your expertise, combination of all. What certificate says? Do you know that? I'll explain to you. What does it mean? It's very, very simple. If you read the certificate, remember, see this certificate. What it says? By virtue of qualification, first point is qualification. By virtue of qualification, professional training. So qualification and professional training, and then membership. So 2 points are qualification and professional training. We have to analyze this point as well. It's a very important point because this is certified one. If you are qualified means you are school qualified, you are university qualified, or whatever qualification you have, your bachelor of engineering, or your masters in engineering, or your PhD in engineering, or your postdoctoral engineering, whatever engineering you have, it's qualification. Nothing more than that. Qualification means you are going to your institution to educate yourself. And then what comes next? Training. Professional training. If you keep, I have this side here, I'm PhD, no. You are still a student. Because you have further run practical, and that is in field through some experienced professional, and that's called engineer. That engineer, your teacher. That superior engineer or senior engineer, who is your senior there, who is your tutor, that person shall train you, and that's called training. Then you can say, I have learned something. I have learned to a level that I can apply. An application of knowledge, application of learned knowledge, earned knowledge, science is called engineering in what? Otherwise, it's here. Until you decide here, you cannot work. Even if you have book, your codes, your process, something, you don't decide yourself with confirmation at independent level, you are not an engineer. Even sometimes you have 30 years experience, but that experience is null because you didn't learn anything. Learning is a must. Learning and application is a must. You learn whatever you want to learn, but if you don't apply, your learning is zero. Application is very important. Practical application is very important. That's what I have to stress here. When I say communication, when I say coordination, other than, forget everything else. You have time, you have cost, you have, quality. All these are defined. You can't change them. Quality you cannot change, it's defined. What quality you have to produce, you have to define. Already defined. It's contracted, it's not in your control. Time is contracted, it's not your control. Cost is contracted, it's not your control. All other requirements are contracted. So you can't change them. Why you worry about? What's left? Left is your knowledge. How you use your knowledge to produce that, to accept or to deliver that requirement which is contracted one. That's called engineering. That's called process. That's called how to deliver. There is a design that's contracted, now you can't change it. There is a specification, it's contracted, you can't change it. Contracted means signed by both parties, employer and contractor, and you are engineer either with employer or with contractor. If you are engineer with employer, you have to supervise, you have to ensure that whatever contractor does according to requirement. And if you are with contractor, you have to produce that requirement. Otherwise, you are not paid, you won't be paid. Both of you won't be paid. If you both fail on behalf of employer, if you cannot make sure that what you do is according to requirement, and if you are with contractor, you cannot make sure why you are doing is according to requirement, then both are not engineers in whatever way. Title may be engineer, but you are not honest engineer. You are not religious engineer. Religious doesn't mean other religion. I mean to say psychological religion, engineering religion, because when you pass engineering, when you enter into engineering, you are given charter of engineering, you are signed some oath, undertaking that I will do. That's called religion of engineering. So why I use this title? Quality has to be achieved, and I have to be behind quality. Now quality doesn't mean quality control. This means quality of every activity from initial level to delivery level. Now I see. It's not a small definition. It's very, very long definition. It's not small at all, not at all. So what you have to do, that's point here. The point I say you have to do is that you have to get it done. How? I always say I'm not going to talk for 3 or 4 hours, just very small videos, because I wanted to do something to you, just to restart gradually, so that you know why I'm sick, I'm still bad. So I just say, what is coordination? I explained many times before as well. What is coordination? Coordination is not subordination, first of all. There is no subordination in that. Coordination means move with everybody, move with every discipline. If you can, that's required. Move with every discipline. Can you? If you are a civil engineer, it doesn't mean that you have to do only civil engineering. Yes, you are civil engineer, you are mechanical engineer, you are electrical engineer, you are electronics engineer, or you are architectural engineer, you are whatever you are. If you coordinate, I'm not saying you do it. If you, particularly in such construction projects, either civil engineer or in certain cases when work reaches finishings, it's architect. Generally, it's like that. Because when a structure is almost over, civil engineer is shifted to another structures, while finishing items come in. What they do, they start architect to deal with finishing material, because they think architect suits better. Well, I'm not going to differentiate between two because you know this is very common. But what's required actually? Structure takes 70% time to 80% time, sometimes even more to finish. Because structure is site industry, it is site factory, it is site manufacturing, it's not ready made. It's not like machines you buy from whatever country, whatever factory and procure into your site and install on plinth. It's not like that. You have to produce everything. So when you have to produce everything, you have to enter into depth of relevant disciplines, relevant interactive engineering disciplines. Which are those? Structure based on architecture, because architecture says I want shape like this, internal shape as well as external shape. Okay, so it's my duty as an engineer to try to comply with as much as possible, not 100%, because there is always dispute when you design structures. What's understood by architecture doesn't mean that can be done. Well, it's question of coordination. If both coordinate together, I think that's called unison. And then it's not that. Soil. Though civil engineer, no soil. Civil engineers can do that. Even then, you can say you can coordinate with material testing laboratory. Metal testing laboratory means laboratory that deals with testing of construction materials. And soil is first number very significant, very important construction material without which nothing can happen. You cannot float building in water. It has to station itself. It has to found itself on soil. So soil, architect, structure, number triangle is there. They have to coordinate. This is number one, coordination. And then whole structure, which architect and engineer has to coordinate. And then the structure itself, where architect is to say the architect disappears and it's to see how I fit in other requirements. And which are those requirements? Those requirements are building services. Building services. We are coming to play who? They are coming to play services engineers, electrical services, plumbing services, sanitary services, you can say, or whatever, so, gas services, fire services, you can say fire fighting services, fire suppression services, CCTV services, surveillance services, electronic services, whatever type. These services are to be given due regard when doing coordination. That's what I say is very important point. This coordination cannot be done by a fresh one, first of all. Suppose a budding engineer comes, a fresher comes, you can't expect that guy to handle this. First you have to learn each and every activity of that discipline. You have to learn from interactive disciplinary engineers. You have to learn from mechanical HVAC engineer, electrical engineer, elevator engineer, or whosoever, is how to first understand these drawings. How to understand, comprehend those drawings in addition to civil and architectural drawings. And if you cannot do that, then you cannot work as a coordination engineer. And for that coordination, you require communication skill. Because every time people cannot be with you, you may be on site, you may be in office, you may be somewhere else even. You cannot sit all time, or others cannot sit the all time for this very important purpose. Because it doesn't work for 24 hours a day. Coordination and communication are very significant structural arrangements and entailing on projects. Structural, I mean, not RCC structure, working structure, hierarchy. So, means it doesn't mean you have to stay there every hour. But how to communicate, that's an art then. How to communicate. And if you want to communicate, which you will be forced to, it's not question of wanting even. You are going to. And if you cannot do, then you cannot achieve your project goals. So, communication requires which language? That is English. In general, all over the world. There may be French, there may be German, but major part is done in English language. Live somewhere, China, other countries. Otherwise, where you work, you will find, and even Chinese people, they know English. You cannot say they know, and they only post sometime. Okay, we don't care for this. Let them say, let them do that. But otherwise, you cannot say that they don't do. All right, no. So, if you do not know English communication, I am not saying literally English. I am saying working English, functional English. English then can transmit your message in precise language. I am not saying write essays. No, no need. So, what do you need? You need English skill, writing skill, and speaking skills both. If you can't speak, then you can't speak phonically, you cannot attend meetings, you cannot converse independently, individually, you cannot converse in groups. So, in that case, you cannot handle that communication and coordination because both are linked, very much integrated together. Coordination means you know communication. You cannot say, I will use my regional language or I will use Hindi. You may use in your state, I think there may work, but I'm not talking for one state or one nation, I'm talking for global use. You have to understand English. It's not difficult. You may have certain hesitation, but it doesn't take much time if you know little translation and little grammar and some professional vocabulary. It won't consume lot of time, and you can do it in a brilliant way. There are selected terms and selected ways to write, and don't waste your time unnecessarily, but try to do that. Otherwise, forget coordination. Reason being, every drawing is in English and you have to go through that. Every specification, every modality, everything you will find in English language. And if you lack your degree of communication, then stay in normal level engineer. Don't try to be a lead engineer or a group leader because you can't do that. Even you have to communicate to land surveyor. You have to communicate to quantity engineer or quantity surveying engineer. You have to communicate to valuation engineer. You have to communicate to contract engineer. You have to communicate to interdisciplinary engineers. You have to communicate to planning engineer. You have to communicate to quality. Means there is no one branch. It's complete tree. So you need deep root of communication power. If you don't have that, then you can't say you are going to be a practical engineer or professional engineer. Yes, you are engineer, but not of that caliber. If you are engineer, say, oh, I am a quantity engineer, or give me some drawings, I'll do this, I'll find out quantities. Okay, you find quantity, so you are like a quantity clerk. That's it. You're like a planning clerk. You are quality clerk. Means if you want to do in technical clerk level, okay, fine, you can fit in there. Or you can say inspector maximum, not more than that. But if you say, no, I am a commander here, listen to me, whatever says command, then you have to change your mode of thinking. This is not happening, I know. That's the only reason that I'm talking to you. This is not happening in current scenario. I don't know reason behind that, but it's not happening, unfortunately. So what should be done? That's always a question mark. What should be done? Everybody has different answer. Some people would criticize me, I know. Some would not answer. Some would say, let him speak, he's a barker. He's an old man. Yes, they can say that. Generally, it happens. Nobody would listen to until they are beaten. Beaten means professionally beaten. They won't listen to this. And that's a problem in this country and in our society, that we are of that nature, that until we are taught a lesson, we cannot learn a lesson. Until we are forced to learn something, we can't do that. Chatting doesn't work. Chat. You think that works? No, that doesn't work. Not at all. If you can't coordinate better, learn it. Learning of language is not difficult. I have made many videos in my list. You will find, tenses, present tense, past tense, future tense, and various grades of that, like present definite, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous, like that. Also in past and future. Very few minutes. I think 8 to 10 minutes, about 2 hours. In 2 hours, you can just grasp translation if you wish so to do, and if you don't wish so to do, you are on judge. You can decide yourself. You are going to communicate, or just you are going to sit and take a cup of tea and do some work in small position, and then cry, I'm getting small salary, I'm not getting a promotion, because you are not willing. You see, if you want to get some goal in life, you must have a will, and if you don't have will, you can't get that goal. That's also very true. So what I say, never be under smart and never be over smart. Be smart. Under smart and over smart do not solve questions. Overconfident doesn't solve question. It can make mistakes. So you have to spend time. Gradually, I cannot just come out of university having a BME degree and saying, oh, I am, no. You cannot take responsibility. I'm sorry. Even if I have PhD, I won't give you responsibility, because you have to learn practical activity first. It doesn't take much time. You have to. And if you can learn, then you are big, because you have to grow. Growing each step and going to landing, and then further steps, and then landing, like that. You move on to status of building. You move to tower on tower terrace. So very important point is coordination. Coordination is like, a very lot work. It means you have to think about various disciplines. When I studied my degree or diploma, I was given electrical engineering, I was taught mechanical engineering, I was taught thermodynamics, I was taught geology, and like that, many interdisciplinary subjects. Well, we learned it because these were called mandatory, and we had to learn. You had to pass. But today I realize that it was well designed syllabus. Even there was social science, you remember, in my time. Social science, which means sociology, plus some part of civics, plus some part of economics, and some part, like that. It's a structure in social science, that was called a scientific system in society. It doesn't mean sciences, physical sciences, society, sociology, how society deals, how does it work, how systems moves, how you understand about people, how you understand institutions, how do you understand civic science, how do you understand economy, and like that, how to handle your workers and laborers, and all these professionals and non-professionals, or vocationals, or people working for you. So that I later realized, oh yes, This is real input to engineering, and later on these were eliminated from subject because people didn't want to students didn't want to study. Why should I study civics? Why should I study labor relations? But this is very important. If you don't understand what's worker relation between you and that person, then you can't understand that person. You can't use that person, and if you can't use that person, you can't produce something. It's that simple. If your worker doesn't work for you, or doesn't listen to you, or you're unable to communicate to their worker, whatever it means. Sai Ram, VVIP. So you cannot utilize you cannot utilize that source, that resource, and that is your resource, but you are going to pay. You utilize or you don't utilize. Your headache, you cannot say I'm not going to pay you, but I don't utilize you. Can't say that. So you lose there. If you are not able to utilize your resource 100%, only 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, you are going to lose finances. You are going to lose cost finances. So do you accept that? That's the big point here. If you want to lose, then what you will lose, and then you are not an engineer. Rather, you should have thought how to utilize this person 120%, 140%, and then grant him bonus so that at least overheads are saved. In place of 100 workers, I can use 50 workers or 60 workers and pay them additional benefits so that at least whole expenses are used. That is called optimization of expenses. This is a part of coordination and communication both. You have to understand that. Just like you hire a machine or you buy a machine, very big machine costing millions, you say, I have to work with this 10 hours, 8 hours, but you keep idle. If you keep a machine equipment idle, for example, an excavator or a concrete pump or a mobile crane or something like the elevator or something, whatever you hoist or something, you aren't using them 8 hours a day, who will pay for it? Oh, you say, oh, it's my ownership, no problem. We're not going to pay because it's already here for, but you spend money on that. Depreciation cost everyday works. We machines up for 5 years, 10 years, then also take out depreciation cost of that, and everyday cost is used, irrespective you are going to use it, you are going to use. Who's responsible for that? Then you think that you are not an engineer because you are losing depreciation cost and you are using operational cost. Either hire it and use it. And in hire also, you must be well planned. Oh, I am going to hire this excavator for 1 week. So 1 week means 10 hours a day, means 60 days a week or 70 days a week, depending on the working hours. So if you are not having that quantum of work for that machine, how shall you keep it busy? And if you can't keep it busy means you have to pay it, whether you work with it, or you keep it idle. So you is very important part. It's part of coordination as well as communication, as you say. No book would tell you. So that's called brilliance in engineering. You have to grip resources. You have to use a resource in such a way that you don't lose money. Because if resources are optimally used, best way used, you can keep control over budget. Because if you use equipment very efficiently, if you use resources very efficiently, if you use human resources very efficiently, work would move fast and you need also availability of material in time. Availability of required material in time. So you are controlling time, you are controlling cost, you are controlling quality because everything is well planned. You think it's easy? Yes, it's very easy for me. I no problem for that. But it was not easy for me sometimes. When I was budding engineer, it was not easy for me because in those days there were no computers. You could not plan well. You have to write everything and point it on some papers and say, I have to do this. This means a normal way of working. But now, at least you have some support data. You can fix an Excel or somewhere else, MS project or Primavera. You can write something. You according to what you are going to do. That's very important point. That's what you have to say. Can you understand what I'm saying? Coordination, comprehension, technical understanding, technical collaboration, interdisciplinary resources, civil resources, project resources, how to handle them is called coordination and communication engineering. For example, so you have to write to some consultant or some designer that there's some clash. You have discovered a clash. Are you unable to understand what you have to do? It's because details are not clear. Can you comprehend that? Oh, I have to write a letter. No, you have not to write a letter. What you have to write? It's clarification or proposal. It's called technical query. No need of writing the DS or all that. No need. You know how to write a technical query. This is part of communication. Your query should be so smart. 4 lines may cover so many questions. On same page, answer would come, and you have to provide complete feedback of your question. Why did you raise this question? You got me? You're not getting me. You can't get me until you experience in field. Always what we do, we formalize everything. We make formats. For example, daily report format, technical query format, engineering query format. In such types of such classes of actions, we take in a silence mode. There's a proper format you design, and you design that format, and both agree. Both, I mean to say, originator who is going to send that, who is going to raise that query, to a person who is going to respond on that. On same page, provided you have provided complete support, complete photocopies or references on that, so that you are not going even to impact or attack on time of responder, because you have no right that responder should waste time. You have no right. Your question should go explicitly clear, and you must get an answer to that explicitly if that person has complete details. If this happens, this means you are not going to lose time. Say today morning you send a query, in a couple of hours answer should come, provided that that query is followed up or that person has seen query. It doesn't take much time, because you have given complete feedback. And if you are not giving feedback, then that person will go to this file, that file, or ultimately say provide more details after 3 days. Then in 3 days you have wasted. In that case, 3 days you have wasted. If you get an answer, okay, I come here, discuss with me. Going there and discuss with me cost time. Right? Do you afford that? Injure? It's not like that one thing. It's something very, very different. That's what I'm saying. Just a minute, please. हाँ ठीक है, तबीयत कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, ठीक है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. हाँ सही, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, सही. हाँ दिन में बैठा था ना, ज़्यादा देर नहीं बैठा था, थोड़ी देर बैठा था. हाँ वो पकड़ लेता है ना कुर्सी, तो फिसल ना जाए ना नीचे को. बस चढ़ता भी ऐसे तुक्के से चढ़ जाता हूँ. नहीं उछला नहीं जाता मुझसे, उछला नहीं जाता, आराम से चढ़ता हूँ. अभी 2 ही बार उतरा हूँ, 2 ही बार चढ़ा हूँ. आओ जाएगा आहिस्ता आहिस्ता, अब जाएंगे तो पता देगा ना क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना. वो ये तो ऐसे ही मैंने चलो वो असल में स्पंजिंग करके बैठ गया, तो मैं चादर बदलने में दिक्कत होती है, मैं नीचे बैठ जाता हूँ, तो बदल ले. हाँ तो अब आहिस्ता आहिस्ता ही होगा। जो पास तो पप्पी का फ़ोन आया था, पप्पी का रेखा का, पप्पी का आया था फ़ोन काफ़ी देर पहले।
क्या कह रहा था?
हाल चाल पूछ रहा था, बात हो गई। वो कहता कहे तो आ जाओ, मैं क्या करेगा आके। मैंने
हाँ।
कहा इधर भी कोविड चल रहा है, वो बद्री के बच्चों को भी कोविड वोविड हुआ है कह रहा था।
अच्छा।
और पता नहीं घोड़ी के भी कुछ हुआ होगा, मुझे मालूम नहीं है। तो वो सबकी चल रहा है कुछ ना कुछ।
है।
मैंने कहा क्या करेगा आके।
भैया सभी जगह हो रहा है, क्या फायदा अपने घरों में रहो नहीं।
नहीं फिर क्या करना है बुला के बेकार में। मैंने कहा
और क्या।
अपने रह आराम से
हाँ।
बात कर ली तो उन्हें हो गया ना काफ़ी।
बात है।
क्या करना था, बात फ़ोन किया तो
और
जवाब
क्या
तो
कह
देना।
रहा था?
मैं ऐसे ही आम बातें, कोई ख़ास नहीं है, मतलब यही।
अच्छा, पता होगा मुन्नी को कौन हो गया?
मुन्ने को बताया नहीं मैंने अभी।
नहीं,
हाँ,
मुन्नी को कोरोना का पता था
अब
उसे?
बता दिया मैंने, मुझे मैंने पूछा ही नहीं, मैं तो बता दिया कि अभी मेरे को हुआ था तो उसको भी ऐसा हो गया। वो कहीं बाहर आई है अभी।
अच्छा।
फिर वो कह रहे थे उसको बद्री के बच्चों को भी हो गया, 3 बच्चों को। बद्री के 3 बच्चे हैं।
हाँ।
और फिर पता नहीं वहाँ गए क्या गए, मुझे नहीं पता। उसके बाद समझ नहीं आया क्या था उसने। पता नहीं बाला बाला
अच्छा।
के भी हुआ है, किस किस के हुआ है, होता है सबके हो
हाँ।
रहा है। क्या करोगे।
खबर में आता तो किसी को भी हो जाएगा नहीं।
अरे लोग ध्यान पे तो नहीं रख रहे ना।
हाँ।
ध्यान भी नहीं रखे तो क्या करोगे।
तो ये तो ठीक है ना, अब तो नहीं है ना कुछ
नहीं नहीं,
तबीयत
कुछ
खराब
नहीं है,
हुई?
कुछ नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है इसको। अभी तक तो कुछ नहीं है।
मतलब वो काम तो नहीं कर रही ना ज्यादा?
नहीं, वो तो आती है रोटी बनाने वाली, वो बनाती है।
हाँ हाँ, अभी ना करे ना,
वो
थोड़े
चाय
दिन।
वाय सुबह बना लेती है, बस चाय बनाई थी सुबह इसने।
ठीक है।
कोई बात नहीं, चाय में तो इतना वो नहीं है। और
हाँ।
रात को देर से सोई, वो 1 बजा दिया सफाई करते करते किचन की इसने।
क्यों?
अरे वो नींद नहीं आ रही होगी ना उसको।
हाँ।
एक दिन में रेस्ट किया, वो नहीं आ कहा, नींद कहाँ से आएगी वैसे ही। सुबह फिर उठ गई,
हाँ।
4 बजे उठी है, पता नहीं कितने बजे उठी है।
अच्छा।
तो यही है ना।
चलो, एकदम रूटीन बदल गया ना।
सबको होता है, मेरा भी तो बदला ही हुआ है।
हाँ हाँ।
तो मेरा भी सारा वीडियो प्रोग्राम ये वटम शटम हो गया सब।
चलो, अब क्या कर सकते हैं, आराम तो है पहले से ना।
अब पहले से तो बेटर है।
हाँ वही तो।
हाँ।
इतना टाइम खराब था, देखा नहीं 2 मिनट 12 तारीख को?
नहीं नहीं, ऐसा कोई ख़राब टाइम तो अब चल रहा है ख़राब तो।
क्यों?
उस दिन तो कहाँ ख़राब, इतना ख़राब थोड़ी टाइम था। ख़राब होता तो मैं बहुत कुछ होना था फिर।
अच्छा।
फिर तो बहुत कुछ होना चाहिए था।
अच्छा।
अब जैसा होगा देखा जाएगा, टाइम किसी के हाथ में थोड़ी है अब।
ना भाई, किसी के हाथ में नहीं है।
अब रोने से तो उसे
चलो।
अपने आप ठीक नहीं हो जाएगा टाइम।
है।
रोने से तो ठीक नहीं हो जाएगा ना।
नहीं नहीं, कहाँ होता है ठीक।
जो होगा देखा जाएगा, जो होगा।
और 12 तारीख को 2 महीने हो जाएंगे है ना?
हाँ, 12 तारीख को गिरा था। अब 11 तारीख को हो जाएंगे 2 महीने।
हाँ, अभी तो है
हाँ।
टाइम, 1 तारीख हुई है आज।
अब वही है ना, 10 दिन और हैं।
हाँ।
चलो वो टाइम का क्या करेंगे हिसाब रख के।
चलो, नहीं ये भी तो रहेगा इतने दिन से बिस्तर पे है नहीं।
पता नहीं अभी बिस्तर पे कितने दिन और रहना पड़ेगा, क्या कह सकते हैं।
हाँ।
कहते हैं तो चल पाएंगे तभी तो जाएंगे ना लेटरिन वगैरह।
तो डॉक्टर ही बताएगा।
हाँ देखेगा, कंडीशन बताएगा। अभी चल सकते हैं कि यार थोड़ा और टाइम देगा।
हाँ।
उसका है।
मगर अब वो जख्म वख्म तो नहीं है ना कुछ अब ज्यादा पैर में?
जख्म तो पहले भी नहीं थे।
नहीं मतलब तो बिल्कुल वो हो गया होगा ना, टांके छूट रहे होंगे।
टाँके तो निकल ही चुके हैं।
हाँ हाँ।
हाँ।
वो जगह जो तू कह रहा था ना, वो कभी कभी दवाई लगाता है, वो ठीक है ना?
वो हाँ वो ठीक है, अब तो दवाई भी नहीं लगा रहा वो।
अच्छा।
तो सूख गए अब पहले। अब पैर जब हिलने लगा है, उठा भी रहता हूँ अपने आप थोड़ा बहुत।
हाँ
मतलब
हाँ।
वैसे उठा लेता हूँ नीचे हाथ रख के।
अच्छा
तो
अच्छा।
फर्क तो अंदर सूख ही तो रहा है ना, तभी तो ऊपर है। नहीं, पहले तो
हाँ।
हिलता भी नहीं था पैर।
चलो, हो जाएगा आराम धीरे धीरे।
तो ये
क्या
अंदर।
इतने टाइम निकल गया, और एक 15-10 दिन में और निकल जाएंगे।
और क्या, यही है।
हाँ।
बस इतना ही था।
तो वही तो चक्कर है।
हाँ।
अब जैसे देवेंद्र अरे ठीक हो गया था बेचारा है ना,
हाँ।
लेकिन वो फिर उसकी बीवी, उसका हाथ नहीं काम करता था ना।
अच्छा।
तो उसकी बीवी कहती थी हाथ का ऑपरेशन करा, ऑपरेशन करा। वो मेरे पास लुधियाना भी आया था दिखाने।
हाँ।
मेरे घर के पास ही था एक हड्डी का हॉस्पिटल।
अच्छा।
तो फिर उन्होंने कुछ फिर वो दिल्ली में उसने ऑपरेशन करा दिया।
हम्म।
जब कहते हैं ना बुरा टाइम आता है तो ऑक्सीजन ही खत्म हो गई सिलेंडर की, बताओ।
अच्छा, हाँ वही होता है ना फिर।
है ना?
हम्म।
वैसे ठीक हो गया था बेचारा बिल्कुल ही।
हम्म।
ये तो चक्कर है सारा।
चलो टाइम की बात होती है सब।
कहता था वो तेरी भाभी को मेरे साथ चलने में शर्म आती है, इसको मेरा हाथ है ऐसा है इसलिए, बताओ।
अच्छा अच्छा। ऐसे ही है भाई, क्या करोगे।
हाँ, चलो
ठीक है।
अभी तो आरती वारती कर रही होगी बाहर है ना।
तू तो कर ले आरती, तो पता नहीं वो ऊपर क्या कर रही है, बात बात कर रही है उनसे, क्या कर रही है मुझे नहीं पता।
चल कर ले दे, कोई बात नहीं, चल कर ले आराम, ठीक है।
ठीक है फिर, ठीक है।
ओके।
ओके। Sorry, my dear friends, some call like out. Problem is when you are live and so suppose you have to attend some call, there is no way to pause this video. That's the problem. So I waste your time. Sorry for that. Apologize for that. What to do is talking communication and so, engineering communication and engineering coordination, which are two related disciplines. And without communication, you cannot do coordination. And if you do not coordinate, means you cannot deliver project. From very beginning itself, you have to understand project and you have to do all coordination work. Means if you are a real engineer, or you can say organizer, or you can say you are given responsibility of project, you have to lead project, or you can say you have to decide everything. Means in that case you have much higher responsibility. You are not exclusively civil engineer in that case. You are a director like person. Means you have to direct everyone that's working on that project, every machine, every person, every human, and all finances. You have to take responsibility of everything: planning, quality, quantity, and consultancy. And if you are a contractor, then you have to handle the engineers consultant. Means it's not that easy as you thinking. You have to make your mind, which I'm finding in our engineers in this country. Unfortunately, I apologize for that. Somebody minds that, but it's happening. People don't take it right. So that's all. Who's the my dear friend, Mr. Ayappan Nadar, Ayappan Nadar. Welcome, Mr. Ayappan Nadar. Welcome to this video. Now, what I say, if coordination is missed and communication is missed, then project is missed, because there are so many disciplines these days in structures. You cannot say structure alone. It starts soil engineering, and before that you have to understand what you are going to do. And then soil engineering, you must have complete understanding of soil engineering, how it speaks and what soil says, what laboratory testing machine says. I mean, this is when you test the laboratory soil testing machine, what report it says. You have to comprehend report, you have to comprehend geotechnical survey, you have to comprehend geographical survey, and suppose seasonal bathymetric survey also you have to do. Means it's all complete. Means bore log reports and bearing capacity understanding, and what is electrical resistivity, and is what thermal resistivity, and how soil is, and what temperature of soil below, which comes for the thermal resistivity, say 1 meter below. Pipes are there, cables are there, what temperature they are. Could be in, say, hot weather when there's no moisture in your soil, or something. Say there's 60 degrees temperature, 80 degrees temperature in that particular portion of embedded cable, which can cause burning of that cable, their cable scan. So point comes in, there can be water, there can be no water, there can be moisture, there can be no moisture, there can be soil, water flow. So mobility, we call it soil water mobility in technical term. Water can move gradually in laminar flow or in viscous flow depending on quantity of water. Suppose water table rises, there's enough water in by capillary action, and then soil, as the particle says, silty soil particle, clay soil particle, water mixes them and moves them with a very light particles. This clay particle for the 0.002 mm or silpa 0.002 mm. It's not sand, it's not gravel, it's not pebbles. So I would say this these particles contain minerals. Say you can say a clay particles. It can contain more illonite chemical. It can have illonite chemical. It have colonite chemical. It have. These can mix up in soil and move with water gradually. And from this point to other point, they can move in, harming that soil where they reach destination soil, as well as harming concrete base. Situation can be there can upheaval, or there can be when water is dried out, evaporates. There can be shrinkage in the soil, drying shrinkage, and that means settlement or upheaval. Both cases are possible. So this comprehension must be taken at once. It's essential just to understand, or you have to think before starting that foundation to improve soil or to remove complete available layer of clay, or or then use something else like micro piling, so that you go deep below and avoid that layer. You can go to rock bottom, you can go to piling, you can adopt something else depending upon that. But what requirement is, you should avoid that swallowing nature of soil. So it's a kind of soil engineering that has to talk with foundation engineering. Foundation and soil have to work in integrity, in unison. Otherwise, your engineer level mind is rubbish, zero, if you can't understand this. Electrical problem, electrical resistivity, electrical conductance, both are there. Thermal resistivity, thermal conductance, both are there. Depends where soil is. It's desert soil, or it is non-desert soil, or it's near sea, or it's near river. So many factors are involved in collaboration to evolve from all disciplinary coordination. Sometimes bore logs report you must go through. Maybe it's a part of soil investigation report. So many bore logs are there. So many bearing capacities, trenches, bearing capacities are there. There could be so many other issues that you have to understand. And if you cannot understand, then you have to consult soil engineer. If you cannot do that, cannot design, cannot decide. You can design superstructure, but foundation levels, you have no right to design if you do not understand soil. And particularly, it's for major foundations, very, very important point. For example, for machine foundations, for building foundations, because building itself is a machine. You may accept it, you may not accept. It's the mechanism. And mechanism means machine. There's a formation mechanism, there's a structural anatomy of building, it's columns, frames, beams, all whatever. They have to, this all elements make unit of the building or structure. That unit must act as integrated part of machine, and it should talk to foundation and foundation soil. According to machine technology, foundation and foundation soil talk together. If they don't talk together, they don't cooperate together, you cannot keep building safe, structure safe. Sometimes it may look, inconvincing, unbecoming to you guys. It may. I'm not talking from box. I'm talking from what is in my mind. What is the use of engineering experience if you cannot use your mind? Tell me. You say, I have 30 years experience, I have 20 years experience, I am expert in this and that. But when somebody asks you a question, I will answer. What's our experience of yours? It happened with me many times. I explain to you, I talk to many experienced engineers, sometimes raising questions about temperature of concrete. Unfortunately, I was very upset when I didn't get an answer. What should be temperature of concrete? What should be temperature of air? What should be temperature of curing water? What should be gradual, gradation of a thermal gradient? You can say from internal core of massive block of concrete, the surface of that, how much difference should be there? What should be temperature when you're doing autoclaving? When you're doing factory concreting, you're doing factory, precast concrete, yeah. And what should, how you steam? What's that? I want to remove this member after casting today within 2 days or 3 days. You can't do that until you apply steam on that. How to apply that? And the application of steam is called autoclaving. That's why I say. That's one reason I try to search this in, many international specifications and have some answer as well. And that specification I shared with you many times, but I'm not getting the response. Either people are not interested, or they say, wasting time, why to do all that? We know everything. Yes, you know everything. You know everything. That's why you are an engineer. But why I'm asking is answer me. Answer me when you ask me. I just talked to some engineer on phone one day long back. There was says there's a helipad on the roof, and architect says accept what this builder says. Okay, no helipad, I agree. Top on terrace, frame beam, columns, is complete frame. How bending moment works? We will say there's a whatever number of stories. There's a top beam, bottom, middle beam, second level, like that beam. Complete say there's a number of story and number of beams are there, columns are there. What do you think? Movement, how it works? Bending movement. Shall it increase downward or decrease downward? What do you think? I am not asking design engineer. I am asking a normal engineer. If you have a drawing, can you give an idea this drawing is right or wrong? So what that builder says, suppose, oh no, you reduce this is still on top, no problem. You reduce is still on top. There's a little load on top. That person does not understand other than load. Oh, this is only the top story and very small load is coming. You take out some steel from here. Why are you doing steel? Because that wants to make money. And when this engineer talks to architect, what this man is saying is not possible. On top bending moment is more, direct load is less. And when you go down, bending was reduces gradually and direct load increases. This person does not understand. And what the architect says, no problem. Whatever builder says, after all it is that builder's money, get out. Such people in this country are architects, and such people in this country are engineers. You want to break your legs, you want to axe your feet. Really unbecoming. This engineering you learn, this is your engineering sense. Means what architect says, accept what builder does. Degree of slavery. What a height of degree of slavery in this country. Because you have to survive, accept everything. Accept everything. I'm not joking. This is a factual statement that a 25 years experienced person conferred with me. And I was really surprised. Where is coordination? Where is communication? Where is consistency? Where is competency? What to do? Nobody can help it. Nobody can help it. Really disgusting. Disgusting. That's only a reason. That's only a reason that I have a plan in my mind to suggest to you, try to be a communicator as well as a coordinator before entering into status of executive site engineer or designer. Don't try to accept designation of designer if you cannot coordinate or if you cannot communicate. But you people mind it, I know. Mind it. Mind is free. You can mind anything. You're not going to pay something. But remember, bad habit is always bad. Bad performance is always bad. Bad is bad. Communication is your first responsibility. It is A, B, C, D in coordination. Okay, if it's permissible, use your language. I'm not minding. You can use your language. If it's permissible everywhere. If you want to use Hindi, Tamil, whatever, if it works. But can you write that language? Can you write your language so that other person understands? You have no other way except to enter into English, at least in this country and Commonwealth countries. No way out of this domain. A successful communication leads to a successful coordination. And successful coordination can come only from successful understanding and comprehension of various engineering disciplines and having interactive connections, interactive conversations, interactive meetings with respective other discipline engineers. Otherwise, you are going to kill yourself in engineering. Maybe in this country you do something, I don't know that. But if you work at international level, you won't be considered an engineer. You won't be considered. They won't respect you if you can't do that. Even if you're site engineer. Site engineer is not a small position overseas, remember. Site engineer is not in a small position. As far as international level is concerned, it can be anything here. But as far as internal standard, it's a representative engineer or representative contractor. There are two designations. One is called site agent or site engineer, and one is called resident engineer. Resident engineer is representative of engineer, employer's engineer, and site agent or site engineer is representative of contracting company. These are both equivalent position and responsible positions. Accountability, liability exists there. This point, if you can't understand, don't apply for these positions. Because you are not responsible. Until you are not responsible, better be, foreman level engineers. What should I say? Because you don't deserve higher position if you can't learn. I saw on Facebook today somebody tried to write method statement, and that person could not even use correct terms. What to do, how to do, just write anything. It looks absurd. Method statement in designs, method statement in construction are very important, significant. And if you can't do that, you can't work. Simple. You have no picture in your mind, you have no scenario in mind how to do job, how can you do that? And if you do not have, your subordinates can't have, your foreman can't have, because you have to give them, you have to equip with them, this we have to do, and that's known as a method statement. This is a part of communication plus coordination. And you are absent from that because you yourself don't know how to do it. And if you do not know, you cannot work. You'll be out. Because person who is there to ensure you're working right, consultant or engineer, that person won't allow you to do work without method statement approval. Because what you do on site must be approved. Every activity, how you do, requires approval. And without approval, no sparrow can fly. No parrot work, no. Return. Parrot is not allowed there. You have to tell A, B, C, D to Z what I am going to do with this work with resources, with human resources, machine resources, time resources. You have to, because it's question of money, it's question of time, it's question of quality. And if you are blank, blank persons are not required on important projects. So go blank. By mistake you were selected, by mistake you are deployed, and by reality you are out, not by mistake. What shall happen to your career in that case? By showing your certificate, your fake CV, you get an appointment. That happens. I have seen many cases. What they say, my CV I have done according to requirement of job. It happens. You think so? Means your CV should be real CV or according to job. I have seen many cases where people say, oh, you don't know how to apply. Read what requirement is and make your CV like that. What an intelligence, believe. What an intelligence. You have experience. No experience in that field. You see it CV and make it. And when you are interviewed, what happens? That's where problem lies in. Let us take a small example. I'm not talking about engineering, I'm talking about some computer work, very computer, small computer work. So worksheet is an example. I remember long back, I interviewed many candidates in Delhi as well as in Madras. It was 99, 2000, I remember, 99 years. 1999. I'm talking about 20 years back. There's some company, Algebra and Services, I was heading up that in Delhi as well as in Madras, and all classes of people came and I started taking interviews. Somebody said, I'm a computer expert, I'm this software. I'm like, okay, come on, sit down. I said, okay, make 4 or 5 entries in these cells. What? Make any value, write any value in that. They could not understand. I said, write values in these 5 or 4 cells. And I want product of this. I want multiplication of this. Confusion? I said, in this sheet, these are values you are writing yourself, 4 values or 5 values. I want multiplied answer. Multiply them together. Oh no sir, there is auto sum. He is going to auto sum. No, I want multiplication. They never heard. What is multiplication? Because when I was learning Lotus 1, 2, 3, I also asked my instructor. He said, no, just this auto sum in this. I said, I want result in multiplication. Oh, no, this is only that. So I saw that value there. See, I am an engineer, you are an engineer. You know algebraic sum. You know everything. When it is Excel sheet or Lotus 1, 2, 3 sheet, this is calculation sheet. How can you say there is only auto sum? Yes, that is a benefit that it's given there directly. But it doesn't mean that it's calculator. Every cell is connected to calculator. Every cell of worksheet is connected to calculator. I want calculator use and give me answer. I interviewed, I think maybe 50 candidates. They know only auto sum. Okay, I said, you do not know multiplication. I want deduction of all. What? There is no auto deduction. What do you think? How you say you know computers? You know softwares. I'm just giving you an example. I'm not saying it's a part of engineering. It's very much part of engineering if you use it. If you go through commands of Excel, you will find that. But no, you are not going to do that because you are not going to study thoroughly. You are going to study only what is seen on monitor or screen or sheet. There's a command. Try to use that command. When I am saying product, you should understand that. You are not getting, I'm giving you a hint also, you are not understanding. You know only some. So why I'm trying to explain to you is, there is everything available. But it is useful, provided you have a will to understand. Don't depend on instructors. Don't depend on teacher. Go to in depth and find commands and apply. Otherwise, you are a layman. No difference between you and a layman worker who doesn't know anything. You may be anything. You say, I am a computer expert. It's not typing an MS Word, talking, calculation. If your worksheet cannot do that, what sort of worksheet is that? Throw it, then don't use it. But it is, I can prove it, I have proved it. It works in all formula. All mathematical formula it works in. It works in trigonometrical formula. It works in power exponents. It works in each and every value, provided you know how to formalize it. And that's called application. If you understand application, you can calculate any damn value. You can calculate in single cell any damn value. You can connect cells. You can link cells. You can link sheets. You can link workbooks. You can edit them. You can link hundreds of workbooks together. Otherwise, what's use of Excel? What's use of Lotus 1, 2, 3? No use. And you know, Stat Pro is nothing, just worksheet. E-Tab is nothing, just worksheet. What are they? Hidden worksheets are there. This is what is there. This is called knowledge. Knowledge, application. And if you don't know how to apply, how to use that knowledge, so what shall someone do for you? Very, very interesting and very, very disgraced. I'm telling you something which is very serious. If you are using computer, use it totally. Don't use it half. Otherwise, but you know, you can't depend on the answer given by computer until you are sure. Until you are sure. You try yourself. Write any formula on paper and computerize it. Many engineers do it. It's nothing big. But if you can't do it, try to do it now. Because this is a part of self-confidence, self-building, confidence building measure. You have to upgrade your knowledge, to upgrade yourself. Yes, you can write method yourself. Same thing I'm saying, construction, design, planning, quality, safety, health and environment, ergonomics, all are our fields. Finances, cost controls, budgeting, valuation, construction monitoring, everything, procurement, testing, where nothing is available. Everything is available as domain of engineer. But it's no, I'm planning, don't talk to me something else. I am quality, don't talk to me something else. Then you damage yourself. You damage yourself. Because you are limiting use of your mind. There is no separate discipline. Your mind is total. Total. If you can't understand it, better leave engineering and go. Because you cannot name yourself engineer if you don't use your mind. Exclusive design is not engineering. Exclusive planning is not engineering. Exclusive construction is not. Total process you have to know. That is engineering. As I said, qualification, training, and charter membership. I'm not saying we charter, but what this says, authority it gives you. Authority means what? If I give a certificate, somebody gives a certificate, institution gives a certificate, you are authorized to use time and title, chartered engineer or professional engineer. What does it mean? It means you can use your mind. You developed capacity to a level where you can mold yourself in demanding circumstances. Some people may not get me. Some people may not like me. It doesn't matter. Don't get me, don't like me. But I would speak facts. Engineers are degrading themselves nowadays. Engineers have degraded themselves. If they are in design, they think design is sea, ocean. Yes, it is ocean, I know. But why not to go to all oceans of world? Why to depend only on one ocean? Go to a solid part also. Go to sky also. Why don't you enter there? Why you want to specialize only in designs? Because you are afraid to take additional responsibility. That's only reason. Oh, I am sitting in office, I am very intelligent, I am a designer, I am a thinker, and I am engineer. Side guy is layperson. That dirt must go from mind. Because side guy may be layperson. Side guy may be in dirt because that's a fact. Side guy is only in dirt. But don't forget, if side guy fails, it's you who fails first. Side guy shall fail later on. You have failed now because your design has failed. What do you think? You know? So, my dear engineers and public people, remember concreting. Okay, I will talk concrete later. Forget concrete. I'm just talking of something very, very important, which covers all materials and all project activities and all disciplines, and that is communication and coordination, which makes you engineer. Both of which make you engineer. If you are not a communicator, you are not a coordinator, you are not a project responsible person, you are just in parts. You can say, oh, he's not very responsible, no higher responsibility. You want to face that situation? Why? Why do you want to face that situation? I'm not saying that immediately after coming from university and start doing this. When you have some experience, few years of experience, a couple of years experience, after learning from your seniors, you have to now take interest in something which your professor never taught you, which you have to learn yourself. You are your teacher, nobody shall teach you. And nobody can stop you as well, both of you. Nobody shall teach you as well as nobody can stop you once you are a part of lead member, part of lead team, project leadership team. That leadership doesn't come free of cost. It doesn't come by speaking. It doesn't come by only showing your face. No. It doesn't come by criticizing others. It doesn't come by argument. No. It comes by total involvement in all disciplines. I'm not saying you will be expert of those disciplines, but put switch on, put switch off, and see how light works. Put control on, control up, see how HVAC works. See what is dimmer, work of dimmer and electrical light fittings. See what is requirement in library lux. What's requirement in your bathroom? What's requirement in your drawing room? What's requirement of floodlight? I'm not saying you research. What should be height of a light pole? Why should be so much? And what should be its foundation? Don't you want to know that? I'm trying to tease people so that they should open their mind and do not constrain themselves into very small domain. Engineering is not small. Be a total engineer, total thinker, so that a time comes when you handle meeting yourself. You allow all engineers, sit down here, talk to me, answer to me, you're asking for. I mean that. You should know how to manage it, how to raise questions, how to put people if they're not working. Why this job is not done? Why this job is not done? That should be a point. They have to answer. They answer only when you question. And if you don't question, they'll say, sir, 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 and sir. Only sir, and you're happy? You want sir answer or you want coordinated answer? What answer do you want? I don't want sir answer. I want result. I want to see coordinated drawing. Why did you not place order for this material? Because this material is not approved. Why this material is approved? Because you did not coordinate. Why did you not coordinate? Because you did not know. So what are you doing here? Point is that what are you doing here? If you can't do it, if your drawing is not coordinated, you cannot get approval. If you cannot get approval, you cannot work out materials. If your materials are not approved, you cannot procure materials. So what are you doing? Like this. If you ask questions, they will raise many issues. Oh, this information is not available. That information is not available. I asked this engineer, give me this available. Okay, show me proof. When did you ask him? I did not see your memo. When did you send this mail? Oh no, I talked to him on phone. No. I want communic. Where's communic? You have to hammer them like this. It's not beating them, just making them understand their responsibility. And if they cannot do it, pull back the responsibility and let them go. Finish. That's all. Hire or fire. When they know you can fire, certainly they will work. Because job is to be done. Your job, I'm not going to do. I can guide you. That's okay. That's why I'm conducting this meeting. Tell me your problem. Your problem was you did not coordinate with that engineer. So this is the problem. Why both of you failed? Because that engineer complains to this. Okay, both come to sit down. Sit down with me. Tell me what's the problem. Problem is that both were sleeping. Both were sleeping. That was problem. That's say sequences of these activities, technical activities, commercial activities, communicative activities are very, very significant. And missing this means missing everything. Some people don't like it. I don't care. As an organizer, I will arrange everything for you, don't worry. I will arrange your food, I will arrange accommodation, I will arrange transport, I will arrange everything. But exchange is work. Performance. Why do we call it performance? Performance. Every elevation, inside and outside, every projection must be conducted completely, carried out, or else this does not come free of cost. Understand? You cannot go. Do not get me insulted. Bear responsible, other would come, or do job. And if you cannot do, come to me. If you have some problem, come to me. I'll tell you what to do. Read documents, read specifications, read drawings, understand what's the use. And even after that, you meet some problem, I am there to direct you what to do. Because before you have done, I would have done. Don't worry. I would have done for controls, not for performance. Performance is your job. My job is to surveillance you. And if you can do that, you are my support. I am your support. I give you more responsibility. You give me more headache. I'll be happy. That situation is called communication and coordination. Without coordination is what? It is wheel of engine. It is wheel of engine. If you cannot coordinate, you cannot do something. Do not hesitate in coordination. Do not hesitate in communication. Do not hesitate in clarification. Because it's not for you. It's not for me. It's not for you. It's for project. It's for someone who is paying you. And if you cannot, you have no right for that payment. Sometimes, nails pinch, thorns cut your skin. Always roots are very complicated in every tree. Tree is not complicated. You have very soft leaf, you have very soft branches, sap is moving through those branches, and there's solar energy on that. There's oxygen there, nitrogen there, argon there. It's very soft soil. But see position of roots. You are root of that project. If you can't act roots, you can't get tree, you can't get plants, you can't get leaf. You're wasting your time. Sun won't help you, air won't help you, moisture won't help you, rain won't help you. Because you are dried out. There's no water in that. If you can understand this example, you will change your conduct performance. Your performance according to demand. Once you start, only once your pump would move forever. BHP would be clear. You are IHP, your performance is BHP. You know what's IHP? Indicative horsepower, which is your attempt, and BHP is your result, which is brake horsepower. So your efficiency is BHP divided by IHP, which should be more than 50% in mechanical engineering, but in construction engineering, it should be more than 100%. Because every activity shall teach you, it won't go blank. Every activity shall enrich your mental uranium, mental thorium. Every activity will enrich that, and then you will start self-thinker. Once you start self-initiator and self-thinker and self-primer and self-driver, then you are energetic engineer. You are a person who can think yourself, who can process yourself, who can write method statement, who can decide which is the best way. No one can challenge. That capacity you must have. And if you don't have, forget calling yourself engineer. You're not engineer at global level. You are a rogue engineer. You are a liability engineer. You are a mistake engineer. You are a burden engineer. You are a misfit. Sorry to say so many comments. So though already it has crossed 1.5 hours, but I don't want more. But what to do? I am just taking some time so that I can give you as much as possible, because of course I'm getting a strain in my eyes and I'm not very healthy. For a couple of weeks, maybe more, I come back to original status may take some time. But this part of communication, coordination, actually is coordination and communication I'm making to you. It's an example what I'm thinking to do. Nobody taught me this. Circumstances forced me to learn it. Circumstances did all that. And I hope you got similar circumstances. Dress good or bad, personality good or bad, money good or bad, won't help you. From which home you are, from which standard you are, won't help you. In engineering, it is only